I'm back here with Miss Doris Drake. She's back on my show, and I want to welcome her and thank her so much for coming back. And actually, she started a third business, but we're going to talk about this business here, which is she's the owner of Rebirth Fitness here in Elgin, South Carolina. So the viewers that didn't get to see you or may have missed you on the last one we did, can you tell them a little bit about yourself and where you're from? Okay,
sure. Well, first of all, let me thank you for having me back. Thank you very much for that. My name is Doris Drake, and as he stated, I'm the owner of 3 businesses. The business we'll talk about today is Rebirth Fitness. I come from a large supporting family. I have, my parents had, 6 of us? How can I forget? That's many of us used to be in that one house. But 6 of us. I am the oldest girl, and I have 3 younger sisters, so I have 2 older brothers. I have 2 kids, Unique Drake and John Drake.
Okay. And which Drake is the one that we'll meet today, or?
Yes, John Drake, my son, will be here today. Okay. My daughter's in New York playing basketball.
Oh,
she's on a full scholarship at St. John's.
Oh.
So yeah, she's away.
So you just got success written all over you.
I guess, if you say so.
Well, tell the viewers about Rebirth Fitness. Is this your 2nd or 3rd business that you opened?
This is my 3rd business.
Your 3rd business, okay.
Yes. This is my 3rd business, so it's Rebirth Fitness, holistic self-care. So we not only focus on the physical transformation or the physical self-care, but also the mental. Okay. And what made you choose this for your 3rd business? I've always been into fitness. I've always been into working out. And one of my gifts is, as being a servant, is helping others. So this is just another way of being a servant to help people with their self-care. When COVID hit, Rebirth Fitness, Rebirth Enterprise, and Bridging the Gap, I couldn't really operate it in it. The schools had closed down, so I couldn't go into the schools. As a matter of fact, right before COVID hit, there's 2 schools or 3 schools had picked up Rebirth Youth Development Program. They was going to implement in their schools. And also Clemson had reached out to me to do a seminar for their teachers or for their professors on mental health. Okay. So all this stuff had came into fruition. I had been working hard to get to this point, and then COVID came. Right. So it stopped it for a minute. Right. So I was like, okay, I have to still do something, you know, because I work for myself. I work for anyone else. So again, just utilizing the gifts that God gave me, and said, you know what? Let me see if I can do this fitness thing, because people always come to me to work out for whatever reason. I guess it's just a gift they saw in me, no matter what size I was. Right. So I was like, let me make this into a business, and that's just what happened. Now, from start to finish with this business, what are we looking at? Obviously our goal is to motivate people that wanted to, maybe start a business of their own, or maybe a fitness business. From start to finish, what would you say, how long did it take you to get all of this equipment, that type of thing, to give someone an idea of what it would take? Let me tell you, when God gives you a vision, he will provide provision. And that's just what he did. Honestly, like I said, when I started this, it was COVID. I wanted to make sure I was taking care of myself, so I started working out. I really honestly cannot remember how I transitioned it to a business. I just remember people just start coming to me. I can't remember I really don't remember how that happened. But people just start coming to me. I was like, okay, well, let me just make it a business. And so over the time, I just started getting a whole lot of equipment. As a matter of fact, I started in my yard. I didn't have this building. Right. I started in my yard under a tent. Right. And I had maybe 3 or 4 equipment, not a lot. Right. And people, I guess, still saw it in me to trust me to come with me having just 3 or 4 equipments. Wow. And I just started getting more and more and more. And then the winter time came, and I had to move all my equipment in the inside of our house. Yeah. And I remember my son saying, Mom, you got equipment everywhere but in my room. It was in the kitchen, it was in the hall, it was everywhere. But see, that was God's way of providing provision for this. Right. I had no idea. Exactly. I had no idea what was going on. I just looked around and people just was either blessing me with equipment, I was going to purchase it, but I didn't understand. I didn't know what the bigger picture was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was just walking in purpose and walking in faith.
Exactly.
And knowing that God had a bigger picture because it was just blowing up.
Exactly. And the main thing is you took action on your vision.
Yes, I took action on my vision. I think about in Matthew 25, the parables of the talents. And in that scripture, it talks about how the servant, one of the servants was given 5 talents, one of the servants was given 2, and one was given 1. And the one that was given 1 didn't have no return on it because of the fear.
Exactly.
He hid it, right? So I'm just one of the ones that I can't really say that I'm the one with 5 talents. I think I'm still the one with 1, but I have just returned it. The reason why I say that, because whether or not it's Rebirth Youth Development Program, whether or not it's Bridging the Gap, mental health services, or whether or not it's here, Rebirth Fitness, I'm still a servant.
Exactly.
I'm still serving.
Right.
So I think that God has given me a talent to serve. And with that one gift, I just returned it with, so far, 3 different businesses.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what's unique about Rebirth Fitness, out of all the fitness places that people can go, what's unique about Rebirth Fitness? Okay,
when I think of Rebirth, it's across the board, because that's also the name of my youth development program. When I think of Rebirth, you are transforming, restoring, and renewing. And so that's the same thing we do here. And not only do we focus, again, like I stated, on the physical, we focus on the mental. Your mindset sets your reality.
Right.
It can create a false reality. So if your mind is not strong, you're not going to have the courage or the strength to move forward to whatever direction or whatever path that you're supposed to be on. So one of the services I offer is meditation. We meditate to get the mind ready. We talk about things you could do to eliminate stress. Because if you come in here and your mind is not right and you're stressed, we can work out all day, but you're not going to reap the whole benefit.
Right.
The whole benefit. So Rebirth takes a holistic self-care. I think that we often lose balance. Either we just cater too much to the spiritual and not paying attention to the physical and the mental, or vice versa.
Okay.
And it just needs to be a balance. So here we balance it.
Right. And having that strong mindset with your business, starting this 3rd business, and I think I asked you this in the last video that we did you face any adversity with this? People saying you couldn't do this? Oh, wait a minute, you already have 2 businesses out there. Why would you start a 3rd one?
Yes. Again, I rely a lot on scripture for to help uplift me. And so one of the scriptures I often think about, I believe it's in 1 Corinthians 16. And Paul is saying that there is a great and effective door that's going to be open for him, and it will come with adversities. So with that being said, I know that when God allowed this to happen, he opened the door and it's going to be effective work. But I also know there's going to be adversities.
Right.
But I also know that if God has already ordained for it to happen, as long as I stay on a path and keep my faith and put the work in, regardless of the adversities, regardless of those people who oppose it, it's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great, you know. So it's just, I can't say that the adversities at times don't knock me down, because this was even though God has really, this happened in a year.
Right.
This business.
Yeah, because it's been a year since we did the last video.
Yeah, about 10 months. So this happened about less than a year.
And then that video went viral. We didn't expect that.
We wasn't
so you've been blessed
that.
like crazy.
Yeah, wasn't expecting that. Was not expecting that. But to answer your question, yes, adversities come. People saying, what is she up to now? And she all over the place. But not understanding, again, God has gifted me. So it's my responsibility in return to make sure I'm utilizing my gift to the fullest.
Right.
Does it come with adversities? Yes.
Right.
When I first got this building, so like I said, I had no idea what I was gonna do with all this equipment I was getting.
Right.
And then initially I was like, okay, let me start something that no one else has. So that was my thing. Once I sat down, I was like, okay, let me see what I want to do with this. But then that didn't work out the way I wanted to work out. I'm still gonna go back to it now. Very innovative.
And you speak about, things that nobody has, especially in our community.
Yes.
You don't really see that on a holistic, taking on that approach.
You don't.
You mostly just see people working out,
Yes.
and that's it.
That's it.
But you encompass everything with it.
Yes.
Now, with your customer base that you've been building within this last year, how did you build a successful customer base? How do one go about that?
I'm still working on that. So that's dealing with marketing, word of mouth. So like I was saying in the last interview, integrity. So when I started outside under a tent, I treated those customers and myself and my business the same way I did. It's in my mindset as if I was in a full capacity gym,
Right.
like I am now.
Exactly.
So I carried myself so that, again, word of mouth, and also my integrity, and also what people see. So they can't. I don't act any different, or I don't carry this business any different than I did when I only had 2 or 3 people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because all it takes is one, and
All it takes is one. All it takes is one. So word of mouth is really big, especially in this type of business.
Exactly.
Because people want to see results.
And did you have any fears when you started this, or were you just basically strictly on faith, or did you have any fears that normally creep into anybody?
Yeah, of course. I had fears. Like I said, when me and my dad, again, a very big supporter of mine, very big supporter, thank God for him. But when me and my dad went to go look for this building, he went with me. So I made a lot of mistakes once I got the building, or how I want to say this. I end up spending more money on the end tail than I would have needed to if I would have thought about certain things in the beginning.
Right.
For example, when we got the building, we just got the building. I wasn't thinking about the windows. I wasn't thinking about the floors. Now I could have had them install the windows when they came to get the building, but I wasn't thinking that.
Right.
So once the building was up, I was like, great, but it's hot. Great, I have no floors, it's grass, So just looking at everything like, oh my gosh, I gotta get an AC unit, what was I thinking? And then at this time, the price of lumber went up because I was actually gonna put like a floor in it. The price of lumber went up. I was like, oh my God, price of lumber is just too high right now.
Right.
I was like, let me see if I can get concrete. My mindset thinking, okay, well, concrete is gonna be more expensive. But because the price of lumber was up, concrete was actually cheaper. So finally had someone come in and put the concrete in and lay the carpet, put the windows in, did the AC. I already had all the equipment. All the equipment was already here, so just placing it in. But yeah, so in that process, I was fearful. I was doubtful too, like, Lord, what have I got myself into?
Right.
So that happens. Even when you're walking out in faith and in purpose, you're human.
It's natural. Yeah.
It's natural.
Yeah. And with all that, did you ever experience any failures with it starting throughout this? I know you have the mistakes, but any failures so far that maybe people can look out for if they're trying to start a fitness business?
I think when I think of the failures, I would still have to go back to some of the things that I didn't think about before. So I would suggest just to make sure that you have a blueprint of exactly of what you want. As far as, again, I could go back to this. I could have saved so much money if I would have got some of this stuff. Like I said, TNT carporters who did the building for me.
Okay.
They could have installed the windows for a small fee.
Right.
But because I went backwards, not purposely, but just didn't know, maybe I could have did more research on, because I'm sure I'm not the first one who has, and I think they call it a carport garage, a carport fitness facility or something. I could have did some more research to see exactly what they had and what was needed to help me not make the mistakes I made.
I got you. And we talked about just now about your failures, but what are some of your greatest accomplishments in this business?
I would say my greatest accomplishment in this business is just having the faith and work to move forward with it. In spite of COVID, because once COVID hit and it shut down my other two business temporarily, I could have went into the hole and went to like an old pity me.
Right.
You know, so I think I'm grateful for my mindset. I'm grateful that I was able to say, okay, well, God, what do you want me to get out of this? What do I need to do during this time? How can I better myself?
Right.
What can I do to be a better servant for you? You know, what is it that I can add? And so I'm very grateful for my mindset.
Right.
During that time.
We talked about the accomplishments. So with your accomplishments, what sacrifices, we all have to sacrifice when we're starting a business or pretty much doing anything that we want. So what are some of the sacrifices, after talking about your accomplishments, had to do? Funding
everything. So, you know, like I said, some equipment was donated. Not a lot. Some of it was donated to me. A few things. I was able to find some things that was online that I got for a good price. The building, had to pay for it.
Yeah.
Concrete.
Cost money.
The cost. So, and like I tell my kids, because I want them to be entrepreneurs.
Right.
You know, so the thing is with Rebirth Fitness, that is, I'm not just doing this, and as well as my other business, I'm trying to create generational wealth.
Exactly.
Right? So, and I'm not only creating generational wealth, but I need my kids to see how it looks.
How it looks.
So it's much bigger than just what's on the outside or what's on the surface.
Right.
I need to let them see what it looks like. Yeah. You know, you just can't have the faith and not put the work in.
Exactly.
And I know they see me put the work in, you know. So I need them to understand what comes with it. Because if you're going to inherit what I'm putting all the work in, I need you to understand as well as what it takes to keep that.
Exactly.
And if you decide that you want to do your own thing, I need you to also decide what goes into doing that.
Exactly.
So this is more than just me saying, oh, I have 3 businesses. It's much bigger than this. It's much bigger. I may reap some of the benefits now, but I'm praying that my kids' generations well after me reap the benefits of this.
Absolutely. And that's, like you said, that's what it's all about.
That's what my success is.
And what is your company's goal at this point? How do you plan on scaling your business, or what are your goals for the business?
My goal is basically, especially for women, right? So for women, we don't do good with self-care.
Right.
So bringing awareness to self-care, holistic self-care. Because even if we do self-care, again, we only take it, or we only cater to one part of it, not the whole body, not the whole spirit, mind, body, not the whole self, holistic self. So my goal is to bring awareness to self-care. Because you can have someone skinny and not be healthy.
True.
Someone can be skinny and, you know, still have stress, mind not right, spirit not right. So the physical appearance does not really dictate the holistic self-care.
Right.
You know, someone can look at somebody that's small and be like, oh, she's so healthy. No.
Yeah.
She still could be diabetic.
Yeah.
She still can have heart issues.
Or something.
Or something. A disease, you know, or something.
Yeah.
You know, so basically, again, my goal is to bring awareness to a holistic self-care so that we can take care of ourselves better.
Exactly.
Across the board.
And with you being in business as long as you have, having 3 businesses, what advice, since this is all about helping folks, what advice would you give someone just starting out in business? What advice could you give them to start working on? What steps do they need to take? I
would say everybody's path is different. Right? You could have someone else could say, okay, I want to do a fitness program or fitness, but their path is going to be different from my path. So first of all, being okay with your trials and tribulations to get you to where you need to get to.
Exactly.
Because in life, whatever you go through, it's equipping you for your path. what I've gone through for life has equipped me to do what I'm doing now. So first of all, finding out what your path is and your purpose is, and being okay with the trials and tribulations and the path that you're on. Now, of course, there's always a sort of blueprint to success. You know, you don't have to create the wheel over or whatever, maybe. That is true. But you still have to be able to withhold what you have to go through to get there.
Okay.
So my advice would be not to focus on the next person or what the other person is doing, because typically when you start focusing, especially when you're starting off and you on your path and you, oh my gosh, you know, why I had to go through this, and they look like they don't have to go through this.
Right.
Because you're going through it to equip you for something much bigger.
Exactly.
So embrace your path. Embrace your path. It will get you to your success.
Absolutely. And you mentioned success just now, and you mentioned a little bit earlier, just a few minutes ago. Just like last time, since we're talking about success, what's your definition of success?
My definition of success, it may be different from what I stated last time. I'm not sure what I've stated, but you know, got a little bit more wiser, I'm hoping. But I would define success as you walking in purpose. You may not reap the monetary success at once or even in your lifetime. So again, success to me is just walking in your ordained divine purpose and reaching, and every day just reaching the mark to get closer and closer to whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. Now, of course, you're going to be sometimes doubtful, sometimes you're going to be fearful, and sometimes you may even fall. That's human.
Right.
Right? But just getting back up, that's success. Getting back up, because when I think of the trials and tribulations, even with this business that I had to go through, I could have caved up. Once I realized I needed windows and I had to put more money into get the windows, I could have been like, you know what, I'm just going to change this into, I don't know, whatever, you know.
Exactly.
But being able to, you know, get back up, that's success.
Exactly. Exactly. And what is your favorite aspect of becoming an entrepreneur or business owner? Since you have three.
Yeah. I think I said this in the last interview, freedom.
Freedom.
As an entrepreneur, I am able to have more say of my time, of how I want to spend it. And I thank God that it was in this season, because we all have to go through seasons. Right? I could have done this 10 years ago. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready mentally at all. So I couldn't do this 10 years ago. And just God just so strategic and just allow things to happen as opposed to if you stay on the path, right? But I thank God for this, because at this time, when we raising my son, I needed to be home more and be able to be available to him more as needed. Because I was on 12-hour shifts. Initially. I was working 9-1-1 12-hour shifts. You know, and I did not want anyone to have so much of my time that if my son needed me, especially the way the things going on in this world, I wasn't available. Or my mind is because we working 9-1-1 is stressful. Or my mind is so stressed out that I don't recognize when he need help, when he's crying out for help, or he's going down the wrong path because my mind is so busy and so stressed out. So I just thank God for this time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He not only saw you, but he knew what your vision was. Yes,
like I said, God provided us the vision, but then he provided provision for it to manifest. Only God can manifest things, right? So yes, gave me the vision, but in the process of me walking through this vision, even 10 years ago, he had to equip me to this point, right? So even with me walking through the vision, he had already provided provisions for this to this day. To me meeting you.
Exactly.
The second time. He already made this happen.
Thanks to Miss Gina Hovis.
Thanks to Miss Gina.
Yes.
God will provide resources and people, provisions, I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
I can't take credit for anything. I can't take credit for any of this. Any of it.
Exactly. And how do the viewers get in contact with you, with your marketing? How do you market? You know, everything. How do they get in contact with you if they want to book a session with you here at Rebirth?
Okay, well, if they want to book a session, they can hit me up on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as Doris Drake. I have all my other business have a business page on Facebook. I have yet to do this one, but you can reach me on Doris Drake on Facebook, or you can email me rebirthfitness1@gmail.com, and you can also call me 803-318-2599. Now make sure if you call me, it's for business.
Exactly. Don't be calling. They'll just be calling.
Don't be calling me.
Yeah, I saw you on video.
Hey, no, don't just be calling me.
And they don't want anything.
Don't want anything.
This is about your business. It's your livelihood.
This is about my business.
Exactly. Well, listen, Doris, I want to thank you again for allowing me to come down here at your new business and your new building. And I know you started out in a tent, but for me to be able to see this and see all this stuff that you've accomplished over the last year or the last 10 months since I've seen you in your other business. So you're doing very, very well. So I want to thank you so much for allowing us to come down here and talk to you.
Thank you. And as I stated in the last video, I thank you. Like I said, God always provide resources to help bring me even further. And you're just another resource. And I truly, truly thank you.